Hello everyone! Welcome to Yoga Chemist. Today we'll be talking about something very exciting, or at least I find it exciting, and that's how yoga can change your DNA so that you can live a long and healthy life. So this is all based on a study that was published last year in 2018, and it focused on how yoga can stabilize your telomeres so that your DNA is stable and maintains its integrity throughout your lifespan. But before I get into telomeres, I want to talk a little bit about the human genome. So the human genome is comprised of 46 chromosomes, 23 of which you inherit from mom and 23 of which you inherit from dad. And these chromosomes are just packets of tightly wound DNA, and inside the chromosomes are sections of DNA that code for different proteins that your body uses to function as a human being. And so every part of your body, every protein in your body is coded for in your DNA. At the ends of each chromosome are these things called telomeres. And I want you to imagine a shoelace for a moment. So a long shoelace, and then at either end you have these things called aglets, which are just tubes, plastic tubes, that wrap around the shoelace and make sure the ends don't fray, that the shoelace doesn't fall apart. And so telomeres are these little plastic aglets, but for your chromosomes. So they protect the DNA and make sure that no sections of DNA are chopped off during DNA replication, and they make sure the entire DNA is protected from the ends. And so they're super important. They preserve the integrity of your DNA so that you can keep functioning as a human being. So there are two ways that telomeres shorten over time. The first of which happens very naturally during DNA replication. So if you think about a chromosome with the telomeres at either end, then the proteins that replicate DNA go from the middle or wherever all the way to the ends to replicate. And because of this process, because the proteins can't reach the very ends of the chromosomes, they chop off the ends basically in the new chromosome that they create. And this results in shortened telomeres. And because of that, every time a cell divides, the telomeres are shortened. And this is a very natural process. Like I said, it happens in aging. So because of this, cells have a certain number, a predetermined number of cell divisions that they can have before the cell can't divide anymore because the telomeres are too short. So that's one way that telomeres shorten. And then the second way is through oxidative stress, through the damage caused by reactive oxygen species. So these are chemicals that are produced in the body when the body metabolizes anything using oxygen. And these chemicals have free electrons, and they bombard different molecules in the body and cause a lot of damage. So among the damage they cause is DNA damage in the telomeres, because the telomeres are especially susceptible to that damage. And because of that damage, aging happens more rapidly. So those are the two ways that telomeres shorten, but there's one way that telomeres can be lengthened, and that is through the use of telomerase, which is an enzyme that the body creates that adds bases back onto the chromosome, onto the telomeres, to lengthen the telomeres. And this is very useful for allowing cells to divide more times and creating a longer lifespan for a cell line. So why should you care about telomeres and how they shorten and how they lengthen? Well, telomere shortening has been linked to age-related chronic diseases, and over-lengthening of the telomeres has been linked to cancer. Because at that point, cells become immortal. They can divide any number of times and they never die. So how can we find this balance of increasing the telomere length without having them go on forever? Well, we can do that through yoga. So there was a review paper that was published in the International Journal of Yoga last year, and it talks about 12 different studies that study the effect of yoga postures, meditation, and breath work on the length of telomeres and on telomerase activity. Of these 12 studies was a there was a 6-week mindfulness-based stress reduction study that was found to increase telomerase activity in breast cancer patients. There was also a case study of 15 individuals who practiced yoga regularly and age-matched controls, and it found that the yoga practitioners had lower levels of oxidative stress biomarkers, so lower levels of reactive oxygen species and less oxidative stress that caused less DNA damage, and they also had increased telomere length. There was also a 12-week study on heartfulness meditation where the participants did 20 minutes of meditation in the morning and 5 minutes at night before bed for a period of 12 weeks. And at the end of the 12 weeks, there was a statistically significant increase in telomere length in the meditation participants when compared to age-matched controls. There's also a study on cellular aging in healthy individuals that found that after a period of 12 weeks of 90 minutes of breathwork, yoga postures, and meditation, there was an increase in telomerase activity. And then the final study, which I found fascinating, was a 12-week study comparing Kundalini yoga and meditation and passive relaxation, where the participants just listened to instrumental music and tried to relax. What they found is that at the end of the study period, the meditators and the yoga practitioners showed 43.3% improvement in telomerase activity, whereas the passive relaxation participants had only 3.7% improvement. So that is a huge difference in telomerase activity. So this study indicates that yoga, that breathwork, meditation can all contribute to the lengthening of telomeres. And it's super exciting. But how do they do it? What are the proposed mechanisms? And this is where it gets very interesting. So we don't really know why this happens, and they're still studying it. But there are some hypotheses out there. So one of them is that these practices help to increase the amount of enzymes in the body that naturally degrade reactive oxygen species. So there are enzymes that the body creates to help handle oxidative stress and lessen the amount of damage that's caused by these reactive oxygen species. So thank you for taking the time to learn today about how yoga can help you lengthen your telomeres to have a long and healthy life. I hope that this sort of nudges you to get back on the mat or to practice more often so that you can really experience the benefits that yoga provides the human body. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I would love to hear any comments you have about videos that you would like to see in the future or any questions that you have about yoga health benefits. I'd be very happy to answer them below. I'll post the link to 2 articles that I found very interesting. One of them was the 12 study review article, and then another is just about oxidative stress in the body and how the chemistry behind all of that DNA damage and everything happens. It's a very interesting article, so please go check it out. I'll end this video like I end every other, in loving kindness. May you be safe, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you live with ease. Thanks for taking the time to educate your practice today. Hope to see you soon.